very warm welcome to this special presentation. It's time for IPL 2022 to begin. For the next couple of months, everything else will take a back seat. It'll be about IPL and the teams playing in it. There will be excitement. We've seen that in the past, and fans are waiting for this moment. It's Chennai Super Kings versus the Kolkata Knight Riders, which is a rematch of last year's final. Those are the two teams playing at the Wankhede Stadium in the inaugural match of IPL 2022. And the news from the Wankhede Stadium is that Kolkata Knight Riders have won the toss and they have elected to field first. We'll take you through their playing 11. Nikhil Narayan is here with me to discuss the two teams and what we can expect. Now, the playing 11s we'll get to, but I think the fact that Kolkata Knight Riders have won the toss and have chosen to field first gives them the advantage, Nikhil, given that due is going to be a factor here.
Due is a factor, and chasing historically is an advantage in the IPL. So, therefore, advantage KKR. As it is, I had picked KKR to hold the slight advantage at the beginning of the match. I think the advantage is now 60-40 in favor of KKR after the toss, Mia.
Okay, now, if you look at their head-to-head records, for Chennai Super Kings, they lead that head-to-head records with Chennai winning 3 matches versus Kolkata Knight Riders in 2021. And that's not all. Historically, over all the seasons, Chennai have the advantage over Kolkata Knight Riders. But what are the two teams like? Let's take you through the two teams. For Kolkata Knight Riders, we will begin with them giving the cap to Shreyas Iyer, their new captain. So, Shreyas Iyer, Wankhede Iyer, part of that team. We knew he was going to open for them, but Ajinkya Rahane is there with Shreyas Iyer, Nitish Rana, Sam Billing, Andre Russell, Sunil Narine, Sheldon Jackson is there, Umesh Yadav, Shivam Mavi and Varun Chakravarti. That's the team for Kolkata Knight Riders. We will also tell you the team for Chennai Super Kings before we get any further. Ruturaj Gaikwad, Devon Conway, Robin Uthappa, Ambati Raidu, Ravindra Jadeja, Shivam Dube, MS Dhoni in that 11 with Dwayne Bravo, Mitchell Santner, Adam Milne and Tushar Deshpande. The two teams, Nikhil, along expected lines for the two teams, but couple of changes there.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, why does KK have 2 wicket keepers? Why is Sheldon Jackson is playing as a proper batsman?
Yes.
Which is surprising, which means basically they don't have enough talent in the 11, in their squad. KK is a weak team for me. We've discussed this before. Except for the Iyers, I think there is no real middle order. Too much dependency on Russell and Narine. They're way past their prime. Ajinkya Rahane opening for you, I mean, that says it all. I mean, Ajinkya Rahane should not be playing T20 cricket. So him opening with Wankhede Iyer, I mean, they have a dearth of resources, KKR.
I think one of the things that KKR will need to do this season is that the 2 Iyers need to fire for them. I mean, if they get going, there's a chance that Kolkata Knight Riders will do well. But you are right about some of the other players. Sheldon Jackson is in the side, given how good he's been in domestic cricket in the recent times. Having said that, he's coming in lower down the order. How is that going to impact the side? Whether they're seeing a finisher in him, you know, we'll have to wait and watch out for that. But Wankhede Iyer, one of their star performers from last season, one of the star performers, one of the leading run scorers, because of whom they in fact got to the final of the IPL 2021. Listen into what he had to say ahead of this first match.
नया सीजन है, नई शुरुआत है और हम चाहेंगे कि जीत से शुरुआत करें और सीएसके काफी जानी मानी टीम है और हम यही उम्मीद करेंगे कि हमारा बेस्ट दें और पहला मैच जीतें। मलाल तो सिर्फ ट्रॉफी ना जीतने का है क्योंकि हम काफी क्लोज आए थे, स्पेशली जहां पे थे हम टेबल में 7th पे थे और वहां से फेज 2 में जाके रनर्स अप बने। तो मलाल है कि ट्रॉफी नहीं जीते पर काफी अच्छा सीजन रहा लास्ट टाइम। और इस बार के डायनामिक्स कुछ ऐसे हैं कि सभी लोग नई शुरुआत कर रहे हैं, सभी टीम एक नई शुरुआत कर रही है और इस लिहाज से देखा जाए तो हम लोग भी एक नई शुरुआत कर रहे हैं और ये शुरुआत को हम अच्छा करना चाहेंगे। देखिए, देखा जाए तो केकेआर ने भी अपना जो कोर ग्रुप है उसको वापस लाने की कोशिश की है और हमारी टीम का कॉम्बिनेशन काफी अच्छा है। काफी खिलाड़ी ऐसे हैं जो एक दूसरे को कॉम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं स्किल्स के मामले में। आई थिंक जैसा आपने कहा सीएसके हमेशा से एक फॉर्मिडेबल साइड रहा है, बट आई थिंक केकेआर भी काफी अच्छी तैयारी कर रहा है एंड आई एम रियली श्योर दैट KKR इस बार काफी टफ फाइट देगा एंड वी विल एंड अप एज। मेरी तैयारी वही है जो हर साल रहती है। मैं अपने वापस से बेसिक्स पे आता हूँ, क्योंकि बेसिक्स को सही रखना हर प्लेयर का काम होता है। जब भी आप कोई भी टूर्नामेंट खेले, चाहे वो IPL हो, इंडिया के मैचेस हो या इवन डोमेस्टिक टूर्नामेंट हो, आपको बेसिक्स को हमेशा अपने होन करना पड़ता है। और मैं भी अपने बेसिक्स पे काम कर रहा हूँ, अपने कोचेस से बात करके जो मेरा रोल है उसे निभाने की पूरी कोशिश करने की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ। एक बॉलर जिनको मैं खेलना पसंद करता हूँ वो है रविंद्र जडेजा। वो आउट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट है, काफी अच्छे बॉलर है, मुझे काफी चैलेंजिंग लगता है। और किसी भी बॉलर को नहीं खेलने का थॉट में अपने माइंड में कभी लेके नहीं आया कि इस बॉलर से नहीं खेलना है, क्योंकि फिर वो शो करता है कि मैंने तैयारी नहीं की है, जो कि बिल्कुल गलत है। मैंने अपनी पूरी तैयारी कर रखी है और कोई भी बॉलर डाले मैं उसको फेस करने के लिए बिल्कुल तैयार हूं। KKR से बहुत पॉजिटिविटी एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं, एक एग्रेसिव ब्रांड ऑफ क्रिकेट एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि हमारा लीडर खुद काफी एग्रेसिव है। एट द सेम टाइम वो बहुत कंपोज्ड भी है। तो उसके अंडर आई एम रियली श्योर KKR फैंस कैन एक्सपेक्ट a wonderful brand of cricket, a brand of cricket that everyone will be really proud of. और हमें भी फैंस का सपोर्ट चाहिए। आप सभी के लिए हम काफी मेहनत कर रहे हैं और होपफुली ये सीजन हमारे लिए अच्छा रहेगा।
Yes, it's Chennai Super Kings versus the Kolkata Knight Riders, and it will also come down to the two new captains, Nikhil, in Shreyas Iyer and in Ravindra Jadeja. First, the shock decision by Mahendra Singh Dhoni 2 days before IPL's first match. He says, listen, I'm done. I don't want to be the captain of the team anymore. I will be guiding this side, but I'm going to pass on the baton to Ravindra Jadeja. How is that going to impact this team? I know everybody's been saying, look, he's going to be there on the field. He'll be taking all the decisions. Having said that, it will not be the same. There will be a difference there. So that's number one. And number two, for me, Shreyas Iyer, all eyes will be on him. There is the pressure. There is the pressure of expectations. He's been in tremendous form, yes. But as a captain, can he get the team along? Can he get the senior players, make sure that they're performing to the best of their abilities? And on top of that, the youngsters, to just get the team to come together. It is not going to be easy.
Not going to be easy. Shreyas Iyer has some experience in leadership from the Delhi Capitals, with his stint with the Capitals, but it's not going to be easy leading a new franchise. He has been in great form, Meha, with the bat across formats, and maybe just being made skipper adversely affects his form, and that is the a worry for KKR, because he is their main batsman, and if he doesn't score at a certain strike rate, they will struggle. So we have to watch out for that. As far as Jadeja is concerned, Jadeja is a good captain. He's a thinking cricketer, but he's not tested. He's not tested in international cricket or the IPL domestic, yes. But Dhoni, I mean, one area where they will definitely miss Dhoni is the decision review system. The best taker of the DRS, it was renamed Dhoni review system, probably in the world, in the history of the DRS. And Jadeja can't go to Dhoni every time for every decision. I mean, yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
It will be interesting, but what will also be interesting is that some of the younger players I'm looking forward to. Ruturaj Gaikwad was in great form last season. What is he going to do this time around? That's one thing that'll be interesting. And also that whole sort of left by Faf du Plessis, moving on to captain Royal Challengers Bangalore. Now for CSK, whether that role will be filled properly, that's another thing. Devon Conway is part of this side. He is a good cricketer, but again, not really tested. That'll be interesting. But overall, when you look at both sides, Nikhil, I would feel that there are strengths to the side, but also many weaknesses.
Yeah, I think the biggest weakness for both the sides is the weak middle order. They don't have batsmen, and if they will firstly, any team will struggle to cross 160, and the other team will struggle to chase. So that's a common problem they have. I think KKR has a slightly stronger bowling unit with Varun Chakravarti, Mavi, although don't have all their bowlers available right now. But KKR has slightly better bowling unit. But batting, I think both the teams will struggle. Faf du Plessis is a huge miss for CSK. He was, their batsman, their highest impact batsman, the 2 seasons combined. Last season and in 2020. So a lot of pressure on Gaikwad to give the starts. And then in Uttapa, Raidu, Shivam Dube, Dhoni, these players have really not done much, in the last few seasons of the IPL. So pressure on Ravindra Jadeja a lot, and he's the captain also.
And I would also think there's one similarity in the weaknesses that these two teams possess, that being that some of those stars that they've banked on, they are not the same people anymore. They're not the same players. And in that sense, I mean, Sunil Narine, yes, he's been a T20 beast, but can he perform yet again for Kolkata Knight Riders? Andre Russell, one injury away from sitting out the whole season. You have, paid a huge amount of money to retain him. And similarly, in CSK as well, there is Dwayne Bravo, there's Ambati Raidu, there's Robin Uthappa. I know he had a good season last year, but can they repeat that?
Yeah, I mean, Russell, if he can repeat 2019, but he's been very inconsistent thereafter. Narine, the bowler they need. I mean, Narine, the batsman, has faded, but Narine, the bowler, can he be restrictive in the middle overs? MS Dhoni is way past his prime. He's struggling as a batsman. So, I mean, Robin Uthappa at his peak in the early 2010s. Dwayne Bravo is not the same finisher anymore. He's not the same bowler in the death overs anymore. So all their superstars, T20 superstars, Meha, you're right, are way past their prime.
I would also think one huge problem is Deepak Chahar being out. I think they made their team around, their bowling unit was made keeping in mind Deepak Chahar. They paid a lot of money for him, and the news that we're getting was obviously that he is right now bowling in the nets. So he is getting there. He's trying to be fit, but whether he's going to miss a large chunk of this tournament, how many matches he's going to miss, because every match is important, and especially for a player like Deepak Chahar to miss matches, that is a huge blow for them.
Huge blow. He was the second most expensive purchase in the auctions. See, he's the best power play bowler with 42 wickets in that phase of play since 2018, the best power play bowler in the IPL. It's a massive, massive miss for CSK. I don't think he's playing half the season. From the reports I read, he's not playing half the season, which is huge for CSK. I think Deepak Chahar is going to really affect them.
Then Kolkata Knight Riders will also have players missing from their team, at least in the opening matches, opening few matches. They will miss Pat Cummins, they will miss Tim Southee, they're not there. And then for CSK, Moeen Ali and Deepak Chahar as well. But Nikhil, Wankhede Stadium, how much of a difference that would make for some of these teams, you know, because yes, they went in not knowing where the matches were going to be played in the auction, but now there is a clear advantage for some of the teams and some who would struggle given the kind of conditions one would find in Mumbai. Yeah,
see, first the overall record. CSK have won 11 out of 19 at the Wankhede. KKR has a shocking record, Meha, at the Wankhede, 1 out of 11. Having said that, CSK did really well on turners in Chennai. Wankhede is a batting paradise and it assists fast bowlers. The red soil assists the fast bowlers. CSK are not very good if you score more than 180. So therefore, CSK are good if you score 140, 150, then they restrict. So CSK, I think, is going to struggle across the Mumbai venues. They may do well in Pune. So I think both these teams will not do well in Mumbai. Having said that, for me, although the historical record CSK has an edge, going into this match, I just favor KKR a little more.
I would agree with you, especially because of the kind of form that Shreyas Iyer and Venkatesh Iyer have been in. Venkatesh Iyer, after what he did in the IPL, went and scored loads of runs in domestic cricket and Syed Mushtaq Ali and Vijay Hazare. But also I feel for Chennai Super Kings to do well this season, a lot will be dependent on their openers. So Rituraj Gaikwad along with Devon Conway, if they can get them the start that CSK wants, because from there on the batting just gets weaker and weaker.
Absolutely. They need to get the start, and Jadeja needs to continue playing the finisher avatar as he has done the last couple of seasons. If that happens, they have a decent chance of making the playoffs. If it doesn't happen, CSK, I think, will finish in the bottom 4.
And how many of you were disappointed? And I know we were when Mahendra Singh Dhoni said that, look, I've had enough. I think the captaincy should go to Ravindra Jadeja because he is really a legend. This really was the end of an era when Mahendra Singh Dhoni decided to quit captaincy. But for Ravindra Jadeja, it's the perfect opportunity, really. It is the time where he can be guided by Mahendra Singh Dhoni on the field to to learn the ropes in a sense.
Absolutely, and Jadeja is someone who's inspired by Dhoni. He's grown under Dhoni, not only for CSK but for India. And Jadeja has become this world-class all-rounder, the best across formats, only because of the opportunities given to him by his CSK and India captain Dhoni. So therefore, he would want to win this for Dhoni. It's like a farewell to Dhoni.
Right.
We don't know whether next year Dhoni will be part of the playing 11 or not, whether he will take a mentorship role or not. So they will want to do it for. So the motivation is not the problem for CSK. The physical abilities are the abilities I'm questioning in this 11.
Absolutely. Now, we put a comment section on for all of you to come and comment on the video as well on YouTube. So if you're watching and if you have any questions for us, do write in and ask us those questions. And also any suggestions. Who are the teams that you're supporting in this IPL? Because we'll be here every day talking about all the teams. We'll be, previewing matches, the latest analysis of all the matches. So we'll be here throughout this IPL. So any comments, please put them down in the comment section below. But just moving on to Kolkata Knight Riders specifically, what do you make of their bowling unit, given that there is no Pat Cummins and Tim Said there?
Yeah, I think the bowling heavily depends on two mystery spinners, Varun Chakravarti and Nareen. They need to, not only control the middle overs, they also need to take wickets. I think Chakravarti will bowl in the power play, Meha. He's done that in the past. He needs to make an impact in the power play. So heavily dependent on their mystery spinners till the fast bowlers come back.
Okay, now there is a comment from Lakshmi Narayan who's saying that he watches our show and he likes your stats. So there you go, Nikhil. Thank you so much, Lakshmi Narayan, for watching us and appreciating what we do. We try to bring out the best in terms of stats and updates. We try to get you the fastest updates right here. So yes, thank you so much. Which is the team that you're supporting in this IPL? Do let us know. We also made a prediction, by the way, sometime back, Nikhil and I. We had a long show, I don't know whether you watched it, where we talked about who the 4 teams would be who are likely to make it to the playoffs. Of course, there were a lot of number crunching, data involved in it. But I don't know if you watched it. There were 4 teams which did not have Chennai Super Kings. Slightly controversial there. But the one thing we know, Lakshmi Narayan, I don't know if you support Chennai Super Kings and the others, is that Chennai Super Kings is a team that knows how to rise. It's like a phoenix, just knows how, when nobody gives them a chance, Nikhil, they
defy odds, They defy odds, they defy number crunching, they defy probability. I mean, otherwise, how does a team whose average age, I think, is 34, 35, keep on winning the IPL? So, again, this year, they are not enough, flop for playoff teams, but, I won't be surprised if they surprise us. So, that is what CSK is. They have their own formula, they have their own methodology, they have a belief system. Of course, it's like a family. And the family, everyone is very sort of connected with one another. And they rise to the occasion, play for each other. It's a very different unit, CSK, than any other team.
That's right. The other thing being that this is now a different format this season. There are 70 league matches that will be played. And I know that is a lot more. That's 2 more weeks of entertainment, if not more. Also, from 54 matches, it's gone to 70 matches. The teams have been divided into 2 groups. They'll be playing each other in their group twice, and then we'll be playing the teams from other group once, except the one that is directly adjacent to them in that group. They'll be playing them twice. So yes, it's a change in the format, but it just means that there'll be a lot more action. So a lot of action coming up in this IPL. And I'm excited, Nikhil. The one thing that I'm really excited about is these new captains. Because I think in this IPL, you will get a sense of who's going to be captaining India in the future. And I think that's what is exciting to watch. What is the kind of cricket they're going to play, the brand, who's going to be aggressive in Rishabh, Shreyas, Hardik Pandya, who many would think is not captaincy material. Maybe he's going to prove all of us wrong. So yeah, that's
Rahul,
what I'm excited about.
Number of contenders. Yeah, I think that's a battle within the battle.
Yeah.
The who's going to captain India. Currently, I think Rishabh Pant has his stakes very high, but there are a few dark horses. Shreyas Iyer is a dark horse. No one really knows. He's been in the form of his life. Maybe captaincy just inspires him to take his batting to a higher level. So interesting. This is one battle within a battle. Looking forward to.
Yeah. Okay, another question that we've got from Raja Rampal. He's saying, can Chennai Super Kings defend their title? Chennai Super Kings can do anything. They're Superman. They've got a Superman in MS Dhoni. But no, on paper, both Nikhil and I have discussed this right after the auction as well. On paper, it's a team that just doesn't look good. But then, hey, who would have thought that they would have won IPL 2021, especially in the way they performed the year before? So Chennai Super Kings can do anything. They can come right now and, I don't know, just address us and say, listen, we can win. No, they can do anything. Jokes apart. But Chennai Super Kings is just a team that has done it in the past. Mahendra Singh Dhoni is someone who just remains calm, just knows the kind of decisions that are needed in tough situations, and he's brought them out of these tough situations so many times.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ban, 16-17, won in 2018. 2020, not made the playoffs for the first time, won in 2021.
Yeah.
So, you know, if any team defies odds and probability, as we said, Meha, it is CSK. Yes, not strong on paper, but they have their own methodology. So, yes, unpredictable, but they can do anything.
But today, though, given the fact that that Kolkata Knight Riders have won the toss and that they are going to be fielding, they do have slight advantage here. Dew is going to play a factor. That's something that even the commentators, the analysts, former cricketers who've been part of the host broadcasters coverage have been talking about Dew being a huge factor. And even historically on this pitch, Dew plays a huge role. The other thing being shorter boundaries at Wankhede, and that is going to be something that the likes of Wankhede Iyer and the others would be excited about.
Absolutely. So KKR has the advantage because they are chasing. Dew is a factor. Chasing is historically, as we discussed, always an advantage. I think 60-40 the chasing team. So but for CSK, it's also, you know, a blessing in disguise because batting is not their stronger suit. So if they've always defended well.
Yeah.
So in that way, CSK, you know, batting first, set a target and defend it has been MS Dhoni's style, although he's not the captain, but I'm sure he will impart the wisdom to Ravindra Jadeja.
Yeah. Okay. Now, before we move any further, people who are watching us, friends, you guys can join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. We'll be right here going live on our socials, on YouTube as well as on Facebook. So simultaneously, we'll be on both, whichever medium you prefer. To join us then, we will be previewing the next match, but also the review of this this particular match. So that's for tomorrow. But just coming back to Chennai Super Kings and Kolkata Knight Riders, we've already spoken about the young captains in Ravindra Jadeja and Shreyas Iyer and how they fare for their team. But I think also about the youngsters. We spoke about Ruturaj Gaikwad, but we've not spoken about the foreign players, Nikhil, and Sam Billings being there as well. Now, one thing I remember when the auction had just happened, we were wondering what was Kolkata Knight Riders thinking when it came to wicket-keeping options, because they went in for Sheldon Jackson, but after that hadn't bought anybody, and you wondered if Sheldon was going to be, in fact, the wicket-keeper. They bought Sam Billings, but didn't keep in mind that they already had 4 foreign options in that sense who would make the playing 11, because they've got Andre Russell, Sunil Narine, who would be part of that, and Pat Cummins. So who's going to be your 4th option? And I think that's where I felt at least that the balance could have gone awry.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they've chosen Sam Billings because Sam Billings, they want someone in the middle order who can play the role of a finisher. Sam Billings has that reputation. He hasn't done enough at the international level, but he has that reputation. A very talented player, rated very highly in the English domestic circuit. So that's going to be his role.
Okay. Yes, so Chennai Super Kings versus Kolkata Knight Riders. That is the opening match of IPL 2022. Kolkata Knight Riders have won the toss. They've elected to field. We've already talked about the playing 11, and in fact, just now waiting for the match to begin. But exciting. I mean, I can't wait for all the action to start. In fact, the match has just begun, just started, and Umesh Yadav bowling first to Ruturaj Gaikwad, the first over from Umesh Yadav. We'll get you all the latest, like we said, on right here on our YouTube channel. So do join us then. Thank you so much for watching us, and of course, we will go live on our News 9 Uttarakhand. That's the channel that you can watch us on in Hindi. So if you're interested in watching us in Hindi, do join us there. UP Uttarakhand, that is for News 9. That particular channel is where we will be. For now, that's it from us. From Nikhil and I, goodbye.